my dude?
Going on? Good evening.
I'm struggling with this play call because I really honestly don't know what to call anyone. I think I'm gonna go with a John Shorthouse move and just call them by their full name. So,
Yeah,
but even
I
that,
think
right?
that's
I can't. You
probably
know
the
me.
safest bet.
I can't get Elias and Elias Pedersen straight. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be a struggle.
just PD E Pedersen and M Pedersen.
Okay, before we get into the ups and downs, I want to get your take on booing the national anthem because we were talking about that early on.
Yeah. Okay. So I get that there is a trade war happening and Trump sucks, but there's a time and a place for political opinions.
Mhm.
Just because you see something on the internet doesn't mean it's a good idea. Um, you know, the hockey rink is not the time, not the place for those views to be displayed. That poor anthem singer has probably been waiting months for that opportunity. And, shame on Canucks fans for ruining her moment and making her even more nervous than she probably was. Also, I'm just going to list some Vancouver Canucks here, and you tell me what's similar about all of them. Besser, Garland, Joshua, O'Connor, Sherwood, Forbert, Myers, Mancini, Demko. Oh, and of course our captain, Quinn Hughes. Just a thought, they're all American, and they have nothing to do with this trade war.
Yep.
So, it's hard enough to get free agents to come to Canada and Vancouver. Nothing like making some of our best players feel welcome. So it's just foolish, and I get it. We're unhappy, but the last place Trump cares about is Rogers Arena and people booing him. So move on, save it for the internet or save it for your coffee break at work, but it doesn't need to happen at the arena. There are too many people whose feelings can be hurt over something silly, over a silly opinion. So let's just leave it at that and focus on hockey.
Hachiko is
And that's all I'm going
cheeky
to
as
say about it.
always. We're gonna, instead of calling them Hachiko, we're gonna call them Hachikio as an American boo the anthem. So maybe it's time just to stop doing anthems at hockey games.
I've said that for years.
Right? How does PD feel? Right? Like they're not singing the Swedish national anthem. So
the NHL is so multicultural. It is just it's so archaic to sing the two anthems. It just needs to move on. Let's play hockey.
Agreed. So,
anyways, back to the game.
Ups and downs. Where do you want to start? Ups or downs?
I mean, it was a good start to the game. The new guys bringing some energy to each of their lines. Obviously, need the top line to get going. I feel like they've probably had the least energy out of any of the forward lines so far tonight. A little scrum there maybe kind of got them going a little bit towards the end of the period, but the whole first 15 minutes of the game, the other three lines were going way better. Forwards with some good back checks, Bluger especially. Good play about halfway through the period, and then on the penalty kill there at the end, breaking up that cross seam pass, diving out to stop it. So a couple of good things there. Terrible penalty by Forbert. Like I don't know what he's thinking there. You can't take that skating lane away on any day, even if he doesn't knock him down, even if he just impedes him there, it's a penalty. So a pretty bad one there, and not a great goal given up by Lankinen, but probably a little distracted by the wrestling match that was going on in front of him. So we'll give him a little pass on that softie. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how the Canucks have played. It is disjointed, which we knew was going to happen as soon as they said Hughes was out. Plus, adding these new players, the breakouts struggling a little bit. Hedl had a turnover there where he probably heard someone holler and he just played the puck into the middle because he's not familiar with all these players and their voices yet. So finding that gel is going to take time, but they're playing a basic style of hockey, keeping the chances relatively low, keeping Detroit to the outside as best they can. Skating the puck up with the forwards more often because the breakout is a little bit fractured right now. So we we had a lot of good stuff happening there. I'll say that. Stuff to build on, but obviously would have liked to come out of that period with the lead.
I would give Hedel like an up, down, and a down. The up is he had a nice play earlier in the first period where he took the puck out of the corner, drove to the front net, got a chance. His up down was his pass to Garland in the slot, which was a good play, but obviously a bit of hesitation, which made it so Garland was waiting. It's like his controller had disconnected and he was waiting for that pass to come over. And then the down was clearly that pass to the middle because, like you said, heard someone yell. So I mean, but yeah, at least he's showing his legs. He's showing he's got some skating ability. So it should be interesting to see once he gets more comfortable. He'll probably be more effective, but maybe doing his best JT impersonation with that pass to the middle in his own zone, you know.
Yeah, he's just trying to fit in. I did really like that Suter, Sherwood, and O'Connor line.
Yeah.
Some good legs, a lot of energy. Sherwood looks like he's excited to play with someone who kind of plays a similar style of hockey to him. So I'm looking to see that line maybe build some chemistry here quick. And yeah, just nice to see some jump out of these guys. Something we haven't really seen for a while.
Given up to Elias Pettersson. First point as an NHL player tonight. How does that feel for him? And does that make sure that he doesn't get taken out of the lineup again? Or are we just like, it doesn't matter what we think, Tocchet's going to take him out because he hates us?
Well, you know what? Getting that point probably makes missing the AHL All-Star game worth it.
Do we know what happened with Soucy? Is he a healthy scratch or is he dealing with something? Because I did not see any reports on that.
I think he got a little banged up towards the end of last game. I'm trying to remember what happened, but I recall he don't know if he blocked a pass or got tangled up in the corner or something. But I know he wasn't happy about one of the plays, and so we'll have to dig into that a little more. But I didn't realize that he wasn't going to be in the lineup. I didn't think that was a possibility. So.
Yeah, me neither. I was so stoked we were finally having a Juleson-less night. But here he is. He hasn't looked terrible, but.
Yeah, and I knew Hughes was going to be game time decision, but I was all excited when he took warm up, and then out of nowhere, Brendan Batchelor drops the bomb that he's out, DPD's in.
Oh, it's another game in a row where I'm literally updating the lineup card on my computer as we're trying to get ready to go. I was just like, screw it, we're gonna put up the wrong one and just call it as it is.
Yeah.
All right, so we've gone through the ups and downs of the first period. More to come on that in the post game show. Next topic for the day is that big trade that happened. Obviously, 2 trades. So do you want to just break down the 2 trades that happened yesterday for anyone who is living under a rock?
Sure, yeah. So the other night, obviously Friday night, we had a trade happen pre-game against Dallas. We had JT Miller getting sent to the New York Rangers for Philip Hedel and Victor Mancini. Who is a big right-handed defensive prospect. And then after the game, and they also picked up a first-round pick on that trade with Miller. So after the game, the dust is settling. People are starting to speculate, whoa, what's Allvin going to do with that first-round draft pick and stuff like that. They didn't waste any time, as Chef Allvin is known to do in the past, and he turned that first-round pick into Marcus Pettersson and Drew O'Connor out of Pittsburgh. So 3 for sure NHL ready players, depth players, or younger players that have a lot of upside, and then a young defenseman who's just about ready to make that jump into the NHL full time.
Yeah, because Mancini's played 15 games so far this year, right? So, and he's got 3 points, I think.
Yeah.
But obviously just a kid who, like you said, big boy, right-hand shot, plays the right side, and probably almost made the lineup tonight. But I think with his youth, they probably wanted to maybe give him a little bit more time than a guy like Marcus Pettersson to get into the lineup. And I'm jumping ahead because Marcus Pettersson.
Yeah, they would likely want to get him a practice or 2 before he gets into a game. But just to summarize, like the Canucks improved greatly in defensive depth on this one. They also gained some cap space. They got a young, big right-handed defenseman, so that'll go a long way in protecting Hughes and stuff like that. Marcus Pettersson, or Dragon, as O'Connor called him earlier today. He shores up the stability on that second pairing. You can rely on them a little more in the defensive end. He plays a simple game. He's not going to try to do too much. He likes to get the puck out in a hurry and make a quick first pass, which is great because that's something we've obviously been missing. We were excited about Brandstrom, but Pettersson brings the defensive stability. He's excellent two-way D-man. I'm hoping that he's not just a rental, considering his history with Rutherford and Allvin. So I would imagine a extension is going to be worked on quickly for him. I'm excited to see what Hedl can do in a larger role. He was buried behind extensive center depth in New York, so he hasn't really had a chance to showcase his offensive ability. And obviously, O'Connor is going to bring some speed and depth to our third and fourth line as well.
Because O'Connor, he's a rookie too, right? His first year in the league, I think.
No, he's this is his first full season. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's 25, I believe.
The other 26 thing that these trades did was ended the Brandstrom drama.
Yes.
Because Brandstrom went over with JT Miller to New York, so we can finally stop talking about that. But I mean, with Mancini and Marcus Pettersson coming back, that means we are much better on the defense. And I mean, good to have some right side guys too with Mancini, who's going to be obviously moving into the Canucks lineup probably sooner rather than later.
Yeah, suddenly our defense in the next 3-4 years is looking pretty solid in the top four.
Yeah, I think you were. It might have been you. I heard saying Mancini and PD, Elias Pettersson would look good together. So
yeah, that'd be a really good second pairing behind Hronek and Hughes. I mean, that top four in 2 years is going to be unreal.
Yeah,
for a defensive core.
Are the Canucks a better team after these two trades?
I wouldn't say we're better. We're different. I think we're still lacking that impact player that drags you into the fight. JT was that guy last season, but obviously his distracted year left that part missing from his game and kind of a role that no one really felt comfortable stepping into, I don't think, while JT was still here, because he was still speaking his mind. And it wasn't like he was fully checked out, but he was having troubles engaging. You could tell that he didn't have his heart in the team like he has in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So that will help. PD said he welcomes the pressure and understands that it's up to him to be that impact player. So we'll have to see how that goes. One thing for sure is we got faster.
Mm-hmm.
Both Hedl and O'Connor are in the top 90th percentile for top speed in the NHL. So it'll definitely benefit our rush and help push defenses back into their own zone quicker. Something that we have been desperately needing this year with the very stagnant rush offense. So that is something that we definitely got better in. However, I think we still need a little one more piece for me to feel comfortable going into a playoff run.
So you wouldn't necessarily say the Canucks are better, but they're probably faster, younger, and have more cap space to deal another piece onto the team.
Yes, and a huge weight pulled off of the locker room, knowing that there was issues going on, and not just issues with Petey and Miller. Like, everyone knew Miller had a lot going on away from the rink as well. And so you worry about a friend and the stuff that he's going through. And so that all now can be gone. They can focus on moving forward with the young core. He was kind of the odd man out when you look at the ages of the core. He was much older than most of them. So this kind of creates a different path going forward for these young guys to step into leadership roles and really push for that next level in their games. And hopefully we see it soon.
The next question is Chef Allvin done?
I don't think so. The next 3 weeks will be very important on how active Allvin is at the deadline. There's a lot of factors going into it. The biggest one being the Besser contract. If we're, out of a playoff spot, I wouldn't be surprised if he's dealt to a contender for some prospects or draft picks for next season. If we're in a playoff spot, I would expect us to be more of a buyer and probably move some of our younger guys or maybe some draft picks or young prospects out. But it's really going to depend how the next 3 weeks go, because obviously Besser being UFA and that uncertainty going forward. You don't want to lose him for nothing, but if you're in a playoff position or going for a playoff run, you don't really want to give up a player of Besser's caliber either. So the next 3 weeks are going to be really telling, but I don't think he's finished. I'm confident because of the cap space that he freed up by moving Miller out and all the work that he has done this year by sending guys up and down on paper to accrue more and more cap space at the deadline. He's positioned himself very well to go out and find that true 2C if Hedl does struggle to carry the weight of that because he is still young and hasn't really had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would expect that to be a high priority now that our defense is fixed. Watch for Allvin to be keeping a close eye on teams that start dropping out of the race in the next couple weeks. I'd be interesting to see. Well, before he blocked a shot last night, Barzal was kind of on my radar to see if the Islanders started falling off, if Allvin would make a push to bring him home to BC. But we'll have to see how his injury plays out and if it keeps him out long term. But I would expect someone of that type of player to be targeted by Allvin and company in the next little bit here.
So we'll call the JT Miller trade the entree, and then the Marcus Pettersson trade was the appetizer, and then we're just waiting on dessert then.
Yes. Yeah. The cherry on top, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I think you're right. I think the Canucks probably look to add probably a legit 2C, like you said, and probably another defenseman, maybe on the right side if they can. But obviously, the right side seems to be that like unicorn position that people are struggling to find somebody to play in that position across the NHL.
Yeah, I think right now, obviously, it's a risk, but I think we'll be very pleased in the player that we picked up in Victor Mancini. Very, very good head on his shoulders. Young guy. Yeah, they call him a late bloomer, but the game he plays, well worth the wait.
Cool. We didn't get quite a chance to talk about the Abbey Canucks. We got 2 games to talk about. Last time we talked about them, it was 2-0 on Friday night against the Calgary Wranglers, the best team in the Western Conference, the AHL. So we'll get an update on 2 games, both in Abbotsford, that are done in the post-game show.
We will do that.
Cool. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the second and third period, brother.
You as well. We'll talk to you after the game.
Nothing is perfect.